Well, this is something a bit different than we usually do, I gotta say.
Yeah. Maybe this should
I
have been
had
our April Fool's joke.
I thought about it, but that's also a year away, so. Yeah, I still have my GameCube preview disc from, I want to say early 2003 is when this came out.
Is this the one that came with Mario Double Dash?
No.
Okay,
No? Okay.
why do a few of them say download?
Because it's you could connect it to the GBA via that cable, and you can play demo. I think I'm not sure if it was a demo or like an alternate version of like Dr. Mario and WarioWare.
Yeah,
I don't know who the frick had that though.
I know that like the GBA, if you had the cable, you could temporarily download games to the system, and I think they would stay there until you turn the system off.
Yeah.
But it was rarely ever used for anything interesting.
Yeah, but no, I was using my Wii for streams a little while ago, so I'm like, oh yeah, I still have this thing. I'm never going to use it for anything again. I might as well get something out of it.
Soul Calibur 2.
Such a good game, and then they never did re-release it for anything ever again.
Well, I mean, Soul Calibur is just Soul Calibur. There's not a whole lot of difference from entry to entry. They did re-release the original,
I feel just plays to death.
I really can't tell the difference, to be honest.
What they really need to do is just like re-release the game, and because of the console exclusive characters, the only one that's actually exclusive is a Link. They could easily do like an Ultimate Edition with Heihachi and Spawn in it with Link.
Well, yeah. I mean,
that'd be really cool.
They'd have to get McFarlane and everyone else who owns Spawn to be okay with that. But as far as I know, that's not the hardest to ask. And
it helps that Heihachi, the PS2 character, is owned by Namco, so they don't have that.
Yes, he is owned by Namco. It's I don't know. I guess they just don't. They don't think it would interest enough people, and I sort of understand that because I don't remember hearing a whole lot about Soul Calibur, at least here in America, until Soul Calibur 4. It was definitely the Star Wars stuff that attracted everyone's attention at the time.
I definitely remember hearing a lot about Soul Calibur 2.
I remember hearing a lot about
linked it. That.
I remember hearing a lot about the older Soul Calibur games in gaming magazines specifically, like where they could pay for advertising space and where there were guides for them. I don't remember hearing about Soul Calibur like from people until 4.
It's funny because the series is kind of stupid because Soul Calibur 2 is actually the third game in the series.
Oh yeah, because it's Soul Edge is technically
the first one. Then there's Soul Calibur and then Soul Calibur 2.
There's a different naming convention for a reason, and that's because Soul Edge plays differently than Soul Calibur.
Yes.
Like there's story connections there, but
there's connections and character connections. Yeah, so it's technically within the same series.
Yeah,
so.
But Soul Edge was much more standard in 3D fighter control, whereas Soul Calibur's thing is the whole 8-directional movement and the specific way that factors into the way moves play out. 3D fighters are interesting when you compare them to 2D fighters, in that like basically every 2D fighter you ever play is the framework is pretty much the same as every other 2D fighter. There's a lot of mechanical differences inside of that framework, but you pretty much know like the skeleton of how any 2D fighter is going to play when you pick it up. With 3D fighters, you have Tekken, which is Tekken, and then you have Dead or Alive, which is Dead or Alive.
You have Soul Calibur, which is very different from those two.
Yeah,
and that's not even going into the arena brawler genre.
Yeah, I'm not counting like arena brawlers in this. Like I'm counting like 2D fighters with a specific kind of camera, where one fighter is on each side, like in a 2D fighter, but you're moving around in the Z-axis, and that changes the game rather drastically with how the different types of attacks affect your enemy and force them to respond.
I used to have 100% save file this game.
Discounting like the really old ones, like Tekken 2 with its moon jumping, 3D fighters have a tendency to feel more grounded than 2D fighters.
I feel like they lean into the weight
with
aspect of fighting.
Yeah, that's
what big thing.
That's a lot of what I mean. Like everything you do. Well, I mean, it was always true, even in 2D fighters, that everything you do had follow through. But it really feels like there's follow through in most 3D fighters. Like
Well, if you let them jump too high in 3D fighters, it gets way too hard to hit people.
Oh,
It
yeah.
also, I think I don't think a 3D fighter where everybody's as zippy as like Marvel vs. Capcom would feel right.
Well, I mean, like, play Tekken 2 and try using any of the moon jump attacks. It's amazing how often they just won't work. But, like...
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I'm amazed Tekken lasted as long as it did, considering 1 and 2 are, frankly, not good games.
Well...
they were all you had. The only other 3D option was Virtua Fighter, and I think at that point, just the novelty of being a 3D game did wonders for it.
It did
I
kind of,
mean,
yeah.
at the same time, I still think, if we're going to be really technical here, Virtua Fighter probably aged a tiny bit better than the original Tekken 1. That's not saying much because they're both aged terribly, but...
Yeah,
I think all they had to
probably.
do was make it to 3, for Tekken. Like, all you had to do was
Yeah.
count to 3, and then you're golden.
Tekken 3 is still really good.
I mean, Tekken 2 isn't a good game in terms of design, but it is very memorable, so it does draw people in, I would say. But, yeah, they didn't really hit their stride until 3. And the less said about Tekken 1, the better.
Yeah, Tekken 1 is dreadful to go back to.
Tekken 1 is Tekken 1, like, looking back at it now, it sort of looks, feels, sounds, and plays like a parody of PlayStation 1 graphics. Those FMVs, man, are something glorious.
Yeah.
Also, one of the more memorable things about Soul Calibur is Voldo, the Eddie Gordo who actually takes some skill to use. I don't know how they manage that.
He's also... Yeah, Voldo.
He's the Death Gimp. I mean,
Yeah.
you're never gonna forget the Death Gimp once you've seen him. But
I mean, this also has Ivy in it, the booby vampire.
also check out
He's
you
a
here.
vampire?
No, Ivy is, yes.
I mean,
That's how they explain why.
sort of. It's complicated.
That's how they explain how her and 2B fight in the Soul Calibur 6.
It's more convoluted fighting game plot nonsense that you don't really need to care about, but yeah. But like, I mean, look at you, just steamrollering the Soul Calibur demo as Nightmare, the one character you'll never lose as. That's good job.
You only get four fights, so.
I know. So wait, I glanced at my audio spike and then didn't see what you selected. What are we playing now?
This also has a lot of videos on it. Horribly compressed videos.
Oh yes, I would.
So here's the trailer for Soul Calibur 2, aka the intro cutscene. Which, okay, even compressed, the intro cutscene still looks really good.
Oh,
Well-
the CG for this is great. Like,
The FMV resolution for the PlayStation 2 generation wasn't bad, honestly.
Hi, Link. You were the reason everyone bought the GameCube version.
I mean, I gotta feel bad for Spawn. You're not competing with a Nintendo first-party franchise. You're just not. It's not happening.
oh,
Hey,
but this
honestly,
was like
I-
2003 too, right? Like
Oh,
Spawn wasn't even really relevant
So,
at that point.
Soul Calibur 2 was the game where they started really cheesecaking up Ivy. Okay, that's good to know.
Yes.
Was she not as bad in the original?
Not as.
I mean, she was
revealing.
still cheesecakey, but not as bad.
Well, she was voluptuous, but her outfit had like more coverage. So yeah, I guess they decided they needed something to compete with Dead or Alive, since they clearly weren't trying to compete with their own franchise. I mean, that's speculated to be like half the reason we didn't get a Soul Calibur for so long up until the most recent one, which was 6, I think.
Yes. Also,
wait.
Jaime Tsurugi, the fan favorite.
Yeah, it's like they
Wait,
didn't
really?
they didn't want Soul Calibur competing with Tekken is the speculated reason. Yeah.
I mean, different games have different audiences. Like, I don't know how much overlap there is.
I know. I don't really understand the reasoning. It might have just been an internal rivalry going on, but I don't know. We didn't get. The point is, we didn't get a new Soul Calibur for, I want to say, longer than we didn't get a new Dead or Alive, and that's
almost at least. So.
yeah. Well, we did get that horrible freemium free-to-play Soul Calibur thing on PS3.
Oh yeah, that thing. So who wants to see me play really badly at Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell?
Man, I've never actually played a Splinter Cell, but it's like this character, like Ubisoft puts his goggles on everything.
Look, I'm terrified to play anything Tom Clancy because like my first introduction to Tom Clancy was the PlayStation 1 Rainbow Six, I think.
Oof.
Which is like hyper realistic in how it handles its tactics and gunplay, which is a very good a very good game to go back to at age 32, but not a very good game to play when you're like 10. So
Has anybody actually read a Tom Clancy book?
No.
Everyone knows it for the video games now.
I mean, there's still a new Tom Clancy book out like every month.
How? He's dead.
They have somebody else write them.
Well, I know that much, but it's like, okay.
Well, that just makes it easier if you're ghostwriting them. But because I mean, like, the ghostwriters was basically how they mass produced the goddamn Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew back in the day.
Oh man, can't you wait to play Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell on GameCube with your Game Boy Advance compatibility?
What does the Game Boy Advance actually do?
It said so on the screen earlier, but I don't remember.
It might actually just be tactical map stuff, which would fit with the Tom Clancy
Snake.
style.
Sam Fisher. Because use your Nintendo trademark Game Boy Advance.
I don't know the first thing about Splinter Cell, but Rainbow Six is fascinating. Like you plan out a meticulous strategy of attack with your AI companions, and they will follow this strategy to the letter. It's actually like for PlayStation 1 standards, really good. And then you have to play your part in that strategy actively. Without getting shot, hopefully, because like 1 or 2 shots and you're dead depending on where they hit you. There isn't really much like it, and I recommend giving it a try just to see if it's for you. Because like,
oh man, this is the most GameCube looking game out of the bunch so far.
Yes,
yeah.
It really is. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to?
I'm trying to get on the thing, but it won't.
That's awning.
So,
okay,
awning.
If they let you get up on the awning, that would be like really terribly unrealistic because that shit should collapse underneath you. Okay.
All right, so I don't know what I'm doing. I've never played a Splinter Cell really before. I'm just running around like an idiot.
So Splinter Cell is a stealth game, obviously. I mean,
Yep.
The glowing green goggles kind of made it a bit of a meme back in the day.
Well, Ubisoft puts those goggles on everything.
They put the goggles and everything except for making a new Splinter Cell game itself.
Yeah, they
which to be fair, the last one did have a really hard moment.
You just got murder killed the moment someone pointed a gun at you. That tracks.
Yes.
It's a Tom Clancy game, all right.
But no, I don't know much about Splinter Cell, but I did appreciate the kind of the heartfelt reference that they made to Metal Gear in the last game.
Yeah, I mean, Metal Gear is like a landmark title. Metal Gear Solid at the very least. Metal Gear as well in a gaming history sort of sense, but Metal Gear Solid especially. But it's very gamey. In like all of its aspects. So Splinter Cell, I think, apart from the ridiculous glowing green goggles, is attempting to be more of a realistic
as I wall jump off and on.
As you wall jump off and awning. Yes. It's attempting to be more of a realistic stealth game in tone, if not necessarily in execution. Like, I'm pretty sure you can do stuff like suspend yourself between 2 nearby walls by your legs as enemies pass beneath you, which is a really cool thing to be able to do, but not something you're really going to pull off in the real world.
Yeah, why do I have a scope on this thing?
Why do you have a scope on that thing?
How do I fire? Oof, I'm dead.
I really wish scoped weapons in video games would allow you to just, like...
Well, that was the end of Splinter Cell. I'm not good at this.
No, you're not. You're very terrible at it. Anyone who is actually a fan of Splinter Cell is probably raging at you in the comments right now. Good job.
Well, I don't care.
Oh, Billy Hatcher's here.
Gintegg.
I tried to record this.
Brady wants to play some football.
I tried to record Billy Hatcher years ago. And
It's such a when you sit down and look at it, it's a really boring game.
It's fun to play.
Also, Tom Brady is still in this game. That's how far back this shit goes.
Billy Hatcher's fun
Tom
enough.
Brady's still playing football, Ryan.
Yes, I know.
Billy Hatcher's fun enough to play, but as far as games you
Also, goddamn it, Michael Vick.
Also, but like, as far as games that you would want to commentate over and watch, I don't know. I just feel like Billy Hatcher doesn't have a whole lot of variety going on. Like, if we were going to commentate over a physics puzzle, move the ball around platformer, it would probably be better to just go full stupid and do Glover.
It is so awkward to watch this trailer and have them have Michael Vick be the poster boy for it. It's like, ooh.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't follow football. So I don't.
He did
dogfighting.
dogfighting.
What?
He was
Dogfighting
caught,
gambling ring.
like, there was a big scandal about him being
Oh,
caught up in
dogfighting is in fighting with dogs. I thought you meant like
dogs.
fighter jets. Is where
No.
my
No.
mind. That's
No.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why
time
would
for-
you?
ti-
If you're a professional athlete and you're pulling in that kind of paycheck, why would you? Okay, I'm not going to talk about this. Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
Gintegg.
Okay. Listen. That is actually them spelling giant in Japanese, all right? Because giant in Japanese is like giant. So
Yeah,
there's only
I-
four syllables in Japan.
Yes, I know what they're trying to do, but it just doesn't work in English.
Okay.
They
look,
really should have re-recorded a different version of it for English versions.
everybody
'Cause
just sounds super Japanese in this. Like the cutscenes, if you ever go back and play them.
There's no good morning in in the demo version. It's not in this.
Yeah, but like in the like opening cutscene, for example, he's like all of the kids are like and it's like the grunt. They're not voiced like with any words, but you could just tell that they're Japanese, which is just, I don't know, really funny to me. This game is a game I respect much more than I actually like enjoy.
It was nice to see Sega / Sonic Team actually try.
Yeah,
It didn't work, but goddamn it, they tried.
Well, they had
And
their
I- and I-
golden
and-
egg. It was Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yeah.
and Sega just didn't want them to hatch anything else. So
I mean, I can appreciate this game more now that Balan Wonderworld's out.
There's so much weird similarities between this and Balan Wonderworld, too, from the art design to the kind of like super simplistic sort of visual
Yes, but
style.
but
the
this
way
game
the
doesn't play
characters
all on
look.
one button.
Like, there's a lot of Billy Hatcher in that game.
yeah, everything except the good parts. And
Like
the
the
egg, I
multiplayer,
suppose.
did any of you guys actually play the Billy Hatcher multiplayer?
No.
Okay, because it's
Who-
surprisingly intense.
I was gonna
Me
say,
and my
who-
cousins would play it all the time.
I was gonna say, who's coming to my house to play Billy Hatcher multiplayer?
Well, this was
You could just call me.
This was the age where we were awkwardly transitioning out of like dedicated single player games with awkward multiplayer modes attached to like dedicated multiplayer experiences.
Yeah,
So-
you very rarely find games nowadays with like there are some like shoehorned in multiplayer modes, but usually it's like some sort of co-op or whatever. You
Yeah.
don't normally get like the random battle mode in every game or anything
Yeah.
anymore.
Remember that Prime 2 had a multiplayer mode?
I mean,
Well, at least that's a first-person shooter, so it makes some amount of sense.
like nowadays you'll get something like Mass Effect 3 and by extension Andromeda where they have this squad-based co-op multiplayer thing, and your incentive to play it is actually that it has benefits in single player. So like it's a bit hard to think of many examples of that. Did Assassin's Creed was doing stuff with multiplayer for a while, wasn't it?
I think so.
Like, I remember playing the Brotherhood multiplayer and having a bundle of fun with it for the 2.5 days that I stuck with it. But, like, the way games work nowadays, you can't really justify the cost of making that kind of casual-ass multiplayer mode because everyone expects their multiplayer to be online, and that means you have to have a server for it, and that means you have to have server maintenance costs for it, and that's a pain in the ass.
And that means if something's broken, you have to actually balance the game so it's not a busted piece of
It's
shit.
why so many games back in the day had either really half-hearted multiplayer modes or really half-hearted single-player modes, because one wasn't the focus of the developers.
And that's the entire demo.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
Yep.
you could probably stretch it out if you explored more, but wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
The game gets surprisingly hard later on. I've never actually beaten it.
Oh man, it's F-Zero for Nintendo GameCube.
Oh, this is before they even called it GX. Wow.
Yeah, it has some very unfinished aspects to
Witness,
this.
Ryan. Witness video footage of a unicorn in its natural habitat. F-Zero games don't exist. We all know that.
Firefield is very unfinished.
Wow, this is an April Fool's Day joke.
Wait, so what game was this exactly?
GX.
GX.
Oh, the Rob. The Rob was still there.
Yeah.
Ah,
Big Blue is also very unfinished.
oh wow. I remember watching old PlayStation Underground discs and seeing footage of unfinished games, like the Gex Enter the Gecko.
If you look at what Firefield actually looks like in the GX, you can tell that it's extremely unfinished.
Like, the Gex Enter the Gecko trailer is burned into my brain, as is the Pandemonium one. Because I played both of those games, I can, like, spot immediately the differences between the finished product and the footage they showed off. Stuff like differences in the HUD, or in the level design, or in the fact that for some oddball reason, they showed in the Gex trailer, Gex jumping across these really small, round pillars in the hub world that you'll never actually be able to reach, and would not want to jump across if you could reach them, because the game just does not have the precision control to support that.
Who wants to see horribly compressed Star Wars Rogue Squadron footage? Rip LucasArts.
Oh, LucasArts. I miss you so much. They didn't just do Star Wars
Factor
stuff,
5.
you know.
They did Monkey Island and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I think they did some Indiana Jones adventure
I can't
games.
tell what's going on.
Sam and Max, I think. They did a lot of adventure games, actually. If you're into that genre, it was a good developer to stand by.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
And
the
this is
adventure
the third game, which is
what
not
were
as
you
good.
gonna say?
Yeah, this is the third game in the series, so it's not as good.
Wait, which Rogue Squadron? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember now. That goddamn slow motion ragdoll.
Yeah.
What made the third version bad?
A lot of on-foot missions that controlled really badly.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Star Fox Assault of the series, I guess.
I mean, the idea of playing as an AT-AT or AT-SD or whatever the hell they're called is fun.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we did
This
eventually
footage is
get
so dark.
We did eventually get some combined good Starfighter / on-foot action, but I don't think it really happened until the Battlefront series.
Yeah.
Is the new Battlefront
this
any
is-
good outside of it being an EA cash grab?
Well, I mean,
DLC and
the
stuff.
EA cash grab aspect has pretty much been patched out. You basically just buy everything as a big-ass bundle now. So you awkwardly have everything unlocked at once. But
No, what's weird to me is in this trailer, if you listen closely, the Emperor talking is the original Clive Revel line from the actual original cuts.
yeah.
I don't know how they kind of got away with using that version of it, considering the special editions were out at this point.
You might need to lower the volume so that they can't hear it, considering that the Disney police will probably...
Well, we're talking over.
We're
it
talking
the whole
over
time,
it.
so
It'll
they
be
prob-
fine. But to answer the Battlefront question, it's a good game. It plays well. The story mode is pretty good. I remember when new Battlefront 2 came out, people were waxing lyrical about how they got Luke Skywalker right when The Last Jedi didn't. So it at least satisfies that subset of the fan base, if nothing else.
Let's watch a preview from Wind Waker, where instead of
This
talking about
game
Wind
is
Waker,
for babies. Why is it playing a Zelda game for babies? I want a big kid Zelda.
Oh, man.
no, it doesn't even talk about Zelda.
I-
It's trying to sell you on Tingle.
I have a guilty...
Wait, what?
I have a guilty confession to make. When Wind Waker first came out, I was like, okay, I really wanted to play Ocarina of Time, but I did not have a N64. So when I had a GameCube and saw that there was a Zelda game, I got really excited for about 20 seconds before realizing that it didn't look like Ocarina of Time, and my Ocarina of Time playing dreams were dashed for about 20 seconds before I walked into a GameCube, into a GameStop, and saw the GameCube version of Ocarina of Time there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
This whole trailer is nothing but selling you on the Game Boy compatibility, so you can have Tingle.
It took me a long time to get past the fact that Wind Waker was all cartoony and stuff, though. Because I guess at the time that just wasn't the fantasy adventure that I wanted.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it makes sense, especially.
Zelda always skewed older than the rest of their franchises. So when you got to the N64 and things looked more adult, quote unquote, by the time standard anyway, and then you had that Space Roll 2000 demo with like actual adult Link and Ganondorf and stuff. It's like, okay, that's what people want.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of get at them with this thing that looks like a kid's cartoon. It's like, okay, Wind Waker's still good and all, but you kind of misread your audience super hard there.
Yeah, I'd say so. On the other hand,
Sonic Adventure DX, what? What's the comma?
Those were loading commas. They were blinking in and out like ellipses.
My ears.
But they were commas.
My ears.
They were commas instead of ellipses. I don't get it. Anyway, yeah. They give
you play as all the characters?
Yes, you get one level for each character. However, this port was not done yet because it is stiff as hell.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's a little worrying because Sonic Adventure was already pretty stiff.
Well, honestly, Adventure 1, I don't have a problem with it being stiff. I have a problem with it being loose more than anything else. Like, I feel like Sonic wiggles around way too much.
That's not what I'm referring to. But, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, basically, the only animation in Sonic Adventure that works is the basic running animation. Everything else is not good.
All right, we're going to be doing some typical Sonic Adventure things. Whoop!
Yeah, like skipping the level and spamming the spin attack button. Okay.
As I run off the loop and die.
Look, spin dashing into a high jump to skip a lot of platforming is a classic Sonic tradition. Okay.
Yeah, but it's just a couple of platforms in a 2D game. It's not like
no, you can
the
go
whole level.
No, it's always worked like this, where if you spin dash jump off of an uphill incline, you get an absurd amount of air. The thing that made it challenging in 2D was that you couldn't really see what was coming, so it was basically a memorization game. Of course, not that you can see much of what's coming in Sonic Adventure 1 because of goddamn that draw distance. Oh boy.
Also, you'll see it a bit later, but in the demo version, the water just completely stops all your movement if you so much as put your pinky toe in it.
It was
bonk. See, suddenly can't move.
It was always oh yeah, that is a thing indeed. It was always a fun aspect of classic Sonic physics, and I really wish the 3D games had kept bringing this aspect in.
I think they realized that since they did bring it back in Adventure, people were finding ways to just skip the entire game, and they didn't want that.
Well,
you can still get airtime in Adventure 2.
But in Adventure 2, the levels are designed differently than they are in Adventure 1.
But like, in 2D Sonic, you could get increased airtime by timing your jump on any uphill slope you wanted. And if you wanted to increase your forward momentum...
Also high invisible wall.
If you wanted to increase your forward momentum without gaining any height, you would instead jump off a downhill slope. So, Sonic Adventure was sort of trying to keep that in it. I think the only thing people used in a 3D space, though, was the uphill slope jump height advantage, because trying to accurately time downhill slopes in Sonic Adventure is
you also get more than enough speed just by rolling downhill anyway in Adventure. So.
Yeah. Also, there's a lot more flat ground even in Sonic Adventure 1, so you didn't really get much. You didn't really get much in the way of opportunities to use that. If you jump off a slight downhill incline, you'll get a lot more speed advantage.
Also, high tails.
The way people use it in 2D Sonic is like, you know how a typical like Sonic level is full of these little ups and downs in the ground rather than just being a flat floor like a Mario level would be? If you like are really good with your timing, you'll be jumping forward off the little downhill slopes on the
So
relative.
are you actually going to be playing every single level?
Yes.
Oh, God. Is the rest of
boy.
this freaking thing Sonic?
No. Also, get a load of this. So,
No.
okay, we're going through all this tutorial with Tails.
Ted, you gotta
jump
remember.
attack, spin, jump, he can fly in the air, he can do all this stuff. So, guess what level they actually have you play as Tails?
This is the boarding level.
Yes.
Of course.
So why have the tutorial on how he controls if you're all going to do is snowboard down a hill?
Oh man, Sega with their ace decision making, at it again.
Come on, Tails.
So like,
See you later, Tails.
most of the levels in Sonic Adventure that weren't Sonic, ironically, ended really fast if you knew what you were doing. So like, yeah, people gripe about how slow Big is and how broken the controls for the fishing is, but if you know what you're doing, you can end that Big level pretty much as soon as it starts.
That's a big if, though, because you don't know where the hell Froggy is.
Yeah,
to start.
but my point is, Ted, we're watching Ryan play this demo, so I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that, but that doesn't make it any more fun.
Oh no, I'm not saying that as a justification. I'm saying that as like I'm not expecting Sonic Adventure to take very much time to play through on this
Okay,
disc at all.
it'll take 12 minutes instead of 15. Perfect.
That would be an accomplishment. We've got like 12 minutes left. We'd have to like fit something else in there somehow. How would we do that?
Well, there is one last thing we're going to be showing at the end of the video, so...
Okay.
See you later, Tails.
I wish I had been.
Oh, you
like-
can actually see the planes in this version. You like just couldn't see them
I almost
in the
Yeah.
in the original.
I almost wish that I had been involved in the Dreamcast fan base back when this was first like released, though, because like then I could have had an honest to god genuine reaction to all this shit. Like,
Well, when I was playing this,
there's if you look at like the Wayback Machine, you'll find old forum posts on like when this game was coming out.
like,
And
as
the
a-
Sonic fan base was as picky as it was then as it is now.
well, maybe this is just because I was a kid at the time, but like lunchroom talk and stuff like that, everybody loved Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2.
Yeah,
Like,
back
everybody,
in the day.
yeah, everybody, and now nobody like knows what the fuck they want with this stupid blue rat. You know,
Oh yeah, did you see the I think it was earlier today I retweeted normal hedgehog and then two normal hedgehogs.
the root
oh god, no, cursed, bad.
the root of a lot of Sonic's gameplay issues around the time of the GameCube ports specifically was that the Sonic Adventure games were made on an in-house engine, I believe.
Yes, and the engine did not work on PS2 and GameCube hardware.
Yes.
It just did.
No, wait, on GameCube? Because Adventure 2 and...
It
I'm
was-
talking about here. I'm
It
talking
was
about
it was
Heroes.
hard to develop.
Heroes,
It was
okay.
absurdly hard to develop multi-platform using that engine. So they used a different engine, and that meant they had to redo everything from scratch rather than building upon what they had established in the adventure games, which is
which is why Heroes is the way it is.
yeah, it's so like. A lot of the stuff that was just fluid and worked well in the adventure games became either stiff or overly slippery, and it ultimately just didn't work out so well. And Shadow the Hedgehog was built on the Heroes engine, so it had a lot of the same problems, only now with an even more aggravating gameplay layout to navigate.
Oh god, I cannot... I can wait. I can very much wait for when they announce a new Sonic game, and then we have to deal with...
You know they're
People
going
are
to because it's the 30th anniversary. They kind of gotta.
Yeah, they were supposed to announce something like...
Last year.
Yeah, last year. But they
look,
didn't.
in this industry, I'm just glad that they put things off during the pandemic year rather than trying to push ahead. Because we know Sega would, and we
Yes.
know how that would turn out from past
Yes.
experience.
Yes.
So, Yeah.
I don't understand why Sega is so cheap all of the time, though. Because they make money. Sega makes a lot of money.
Their money mostly comes from the arcade business, is the thing. So they'd rather invest in that than the game platforms for like PC and consoles and stuff is more to keep their brand active outside of Japan.
Like
That wasn't until the Yakuza became popular.
yeah, and now Yakuza is like, and now they have Yakuza. Now they have Atlas, which is definitely
Well,
helping.
Atlas also still acts like a budget company, even though they have Daddy Sega and all of his money.
Well, yeah, but, but the difference between Atlas and Sega is that Atlas knows how to be a budget company. So,
I mean, there's still some stuff that is somewhat unexcusable. I think with
You
with
also have
Atlas.
to remember Atlas did not make money until Persona 5.
oh yeah,
Yeah, but it's like there's no excuse for some of the stuff, like the way that the SMT3 port looked.
Oh no,
originally.
I'm not excusing stuff like that. I'm just talking about when the
Yeah,
acquisition
that-
was
that
made.
kind
Wait, the level they picked for Amy is her last level.
Yes, but they ended early.
What? Okay.
Oh man,
That's why these demos are really interesting. Because they're versions of the game you will never play anywhere else.
yeah.
You gotta send this disc to Beta 64.
You know, like
I'm sure they have it.
it reminds me of playing the Crash Bandicoot 2 demo on the old PlayStation discs, and like literally the only difference between it and the final game was that they changed the position of the red gem so that you could collect it without going through the back entrance. So it was like low enough that if you tried really hard, you could grab the red gem. They should have taken the red gem out of the demo, but instead they just moved it down so that you could grab it if it really caught your attention. And then you played the final game, and it was like completely out of your reach. And it was aggravating.
Well, in the original Crash 2, you could technically get it, but
Yeah, but in a very glitchy way. In the demo, it was literally moved to a position where it was within reach because you couldn't access the path that enabled you to get it. And there's no reason to make that concession to the player in the demo, but they did, and it's interesting to think about.
oh boy, guessing game.
Well, you
This
don't,
level sucks.
you don't
I
have
hate
this
it.
Yeah.
memorized. Now, I actually like Amy's last level. It's
No,
like
it takes forever. As a kid,
Oh, this one doesn't.
this version doesn't. Yes, but as a kid, the only way I could do the stupid last puzzle where you have to move the blocks, because the pick up and drop stuff controls are so finicky. What I had to do was knock Zero off the stage so that his AI wouldn't be able to get him back onto the stage. And then I was able to do it without him harassing me and dropping the thing you needed.
Really? I just sort of jump hammered him into like
Yeah.
it like every time he started chasing me, I would just jump hammer him and go about my business. Zero never.
I was
really
also
bothered-
10 years old when
Camera.
I was playing this game.
Zero
Oh.
Zero is like the most.
Also high end of stage.
Zero is like the most impotent. Oh, this is the actual room where the stage ends, though.
Yeah, and they just slapped it onto this hallway.
Huh. I wonder how they managed that in terms of coding. Interesting.
Yeah.
Zero
They
is
probably
just,
just
like,
moved the room somewhere else in the level.
Zero's just like the most impotent Nemesis clone I've ever seen in a video game ever, though. So he's like Nemesis for little babies, literally.
Preparation complete.
Just skip right past Big. Okay. It's too bad this isn't a Dreamcast demo disc or something. Otherwise, we could follow Big the Cat up with Sega Bass Fishing or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why they were so proud of that.
They wanted to sell a peripheral.
I guess.
I think
They
it's
had to
because
wait
this-
for the Wii in order to sell plastic garbage to people.
I think it was more that the bass fishing game was popular as an arcade thing, and they thought it would sell consoles.
Yeah,
that
but
is-
you don't see them trying to make a console version of Golden Golf or whatever the fuck it's
that
called.
is actually a thing about the Dreamcast, is that they did get some of their arcade engines working on it, which was interesting for the time. Not something that you could really pull off flawlessly on the previous generation. Like Shenmue, for example, is actually built on arcade technology, arcade graphics engine, rather. Which is why it's a little bit strange when you get down into the technical details of lighting and stuff. But
It's a tad weird.
no, I imagine like it would have been really good for Sega if they could merge their arcade and console development markets together more. But I guess
We'll see how things go. But also, who's ready for this epic boss fight?
Let me guess. You mash the B button 4 times and you win.
no,
Yep.
6 times, 3 times for the robot, 3 times for the missiles. Wait, this guy has more health than I remember.
Yep, he does.
He
Because
does.
it's the demo version.
They
He's no less hard, though.
They nerfed the pitifully easy bosses to make them more pitifully easy, is what you're saying?
Yes.
That's
E-103 Delta.
certainly a decision that was made during development. Mom always says if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything, right? Also, it's fucking
guess.
stupid. All right, let's see how quickly you decimate the Big the Cat demo level.
Eh,
Please tell me yeah, it's Emerald Coast. Okay.
yeah.
They used Emerald Coast. Fuck Emerald Coast.
Yeah, this is the one where it's right behind the.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's really aggravating. When you when you spend an hour searching this giant level for the stupid frog.
They made Big's level super big for no reason.
They wanted you to care about replaying his levels to catch actual fish.
But no one did that.
I know. I wonder like what mindset. Look, there's Froggy right there. And
Just pick him up.
and they gave you the floaty. They gave you the floaty power up, so you don't even have to find a good place. But you know what's really aggravating about Big's levels is that when you're actually trying to get the fucking frog, he's always surrounded by fish that you don't want to catch. Every single effing one of them is a waste of goddamn time.
Gotta get them A ranks for them.
Nobody cares.
He's coming for it.
I can never. Oh God.
Nope, he let go. And then he made up his mind and is coming right back for it.
You stupid motherfucker. Just
There we
See, I
go.
told you the entire rest of the goddamn thing was gonna be stupid Sonic Adventure.
No, it's not.
We've already done this game like 6 times.
No, wait, we've got a minute left. Okay. You've disappointed me, Ryan. I defended you.
There is something else.
Okay. I mean, we could have played Beautiful Joe.
I want to redo that for the channel at some point.
Ah, I see.
But yeah, no,
Well,
there is one more thing we're doing.
God damn. I actually forgot we commentated over Beautiful Joe in the past.
Yep, a long time ago. But all right, here's what we got to do: the ESRB rating movie,
Oh, boy.
starring Derek Jeter.
Wait, what?
There is an ESRB rating.
Cheater, boo!
I get
Boo,
Yeah,
cheater, boo!
I get what this is. Okay, so Nintendo was
It's a
probably
PSA.
like really nervous about keeping their family-friendly image. And since keeping your family-friendly image in the video game industry means catering to soccer moms who cannot read on-screen button prompts in order to access the parental controls of their console, at least according to like the Xbox 360 generation, you kind of have to explain the rating system to them in a fun and child-friendly way.
I can't believe you made me watch Derek Jeter, Ryan. I'm offended.
I don't.
Dude, I'm a Cubs fan. I don't like Jeter either.
I don't.
Yeah, but I'm from Boston. we have to
Dude,
put his face on our toilet paper.
Ted,
It's a
Ted,
law.
Ted, put it this way: no one likes.
Am I
Yankees
the
unless you are
only
a
nerd
New
in
Yorker.
this group of nerds who does not follow sports?
You don't have to follow sports to know who
You
Derek
just-
Jeter is.
Also, just hate the Yankees like everyone else.
Who
It's
is he then?
Oh, who is this Tom Brady? I've never heard of before.
Okay, Derek Jeter is a Hall of Fame player for the Yankees who played in the 90s and 2000s.
So why would I know that if I don't follow sports?
Because his name's fucking everywhere. It's like not knowing who Tony Hawk is. Although apparently
I don't know
knowing who
Tony Hawk
Hawk-
from following sports.
Tony-
I know him because he's in
Tony-
video games.
Tony Hawk's existential nightmare. My favorite thing about the whole Tony Hawk account is that someone made a post of
Also, who is Tom Brady?
quarterback.
Okay,
for football. But
I'm
here,
bleeding.
okay. But just to finish the little thing about Tony Hawk is like my favorite post about the Tony Hawk and his whole Twitter account stuff is like, okay, no one has an excuse to think that the old Clark Kent Superman disguise doesn't make sense anymore.
Oh.